time has been, no doubt interested. But now that we broke up, I'm thinking this might have been love. It could have been love. Man, what the? It's just my luck.
Colorful Radio.
Hello and welcome to the second hour of Self Central with me, Lisa Bent. I'm here till 1 p.m, so stay with me to hear the music, feel your rhythm and get back to Self Central. The two tracks you just heard were Lost and Found by Lianne La Havas and Truth by Dwele. The topic today is gift to self, and shortly I'll be speaking to Rasheed Ogunlaru, the life coach, to find out how you can give to yourself in the season of giving. Okay, so stay with me, and also please still think about the two questions today, which are: who are you spending Christmas with this year, and also what gift are you giving it to yourself and why? And again, you can let me know by tweeting at Colourful Radio or to at @IAM_Lisa Bent, calling 0203 475 6878, or lastly, you can email me via the Colourful Radio website. There are so many ways, so there is no excuse. Please get in contact and let me know. I'm going to play Sade, No Ordinary Love. How long has it been since you've heard that track, eh? Right. That's what I thought. That's why I'm playing it. So enjoy.
This is no ordinary love. No ordinary love.
Colorful Radio.
So that was No Ordinary Love by Sade. And I'm now joined by Rasheed Ogunlaru, the life coach. Hello.
Hello, very good morning to you. And I love the way you say that, the life coach. Actually, it's afternoon. Good afternoon.
Oh, is it?
No, it's not. It's morning. It's still morning.
Hello.
Hello, it's that Christmassy time where it's all, what day is it? It's that rushing. Is it rushing Saturday? Is it this Friday or this Sunday? No, I'm really, really well.
And what or who do you appreciate today?
I think today it's friends. I've got to go to a gathering later on today of people I used to work with and some friends and so on. So, and it is that time of the year, isn't it, where people are catching up with lots of friends and work colleagues and so on before then they catch up with family and so on. So definitely friendships, connections, old and new, and that's it.
That sounds good. And talking about friendships, which is also a part of relationships, which was our topic last week. I went to Marsha Ambrose's concert on Tuesday, and brilliant concert. It was amazing. And then, oh my God, Natalie Stewart, the flowissist, came on stage and they did a track. I'm like, oh my, we were just talking about relationships and whether the season of goodwill is a good time to heal a rift. And clearly that happened because no one expected that. I literally went crazy, and I'm just hoping that this is the beginning of a brand new start for them. They did mention that they'd be working together in 2015, and I just hope. You know, I'm not really a starstrucky kind of person. This is nothing to do with being starstruck. It's more about loving a particular type of music, a style of music, and when it's gone, I miss it. As a duo, they're going to come back and make something special again. Honestly, it's giving me so much life right now. I'm excited. And if anyone wants to go and see, number one, my reaction when I saw Natalie Stewart, the flowissist, come on stage, and two, wants to see a little snippet of Marsha Ambrose's singing Butterflies, then you can go to my Instagram page, which is Self Central 101, and you can have a little look. I was gobsmacked, and you can see the little snippet there. So again, relationships is really, really important.
And it's also interesting. What I get a sense of from that is that, you know, we're going to be talking a lot today about one's relationship to yourself, isn't it? But it's interesting then how we often have a relationship to other people and other people's work, and often that can put a lot of pressure on in itself, isn't it? So if you, for example, if you're in the public eye, lots of people have an expectation. So, or let's say two partners have been together, everyone expects them to get back together. So that's also an interesting dynamic, and what makes things often even more charged, because that's interesting. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's difficult. And often when both people have grown, is that easy or is it difficult? And also relationships are never going to be stagnant. So if people get back together again, be it at work, be it in that, creative sense, as in that particular sense, or, people of family or two people, it may never be this, so it's interesting our own expectations that then we project on everybody else. Relationships are absolutely fascinating, but absolutely now is a really good time of year to tell people that you appreciate them, and to reconnect. And often things just change. You know, you were at where you were at, they were at where they're at. So it's a lovely time of the year. Sometimes just to again, it's the first thing you start off by saying, actually, that appreciation, because it may or may not be about people coming back together, but the appreciation. You know what? I really appreciate that you played this part in my career or in my life or in my work or what have you. It's very powerful.
And in regards to Floetry, even if moving forward, for some reason they don't decide to work together again, just that reaching out and making peace with the broken, I guess, then that in itself is enough for them to continue and move on in a really nice kind of healed, positive kind of way forward. So yeah, but I absolutely loved seeing that. And again, if you want to see my reaction and you want to see a little snippet of Marsha Ambrosius performing Butterflies, go to my Instagram account, which is Self Central 101. Okay, we're going to go to a track by Donny called Find You. And when we return, we will discuss how you can give yourself a gift in the season that is about giving, which is usually giving out. So stay with us and enjoy the track.
Colourful Radio.
So that was Donny, Find You. And today the topic is gift to self. And the question is, what gift are you giving to yourself and why? Rasheed, why is it so important to give back to ourselves?
Because really yourself is the start. And it's interesting that this show deliberately called it self-central. So you knew that the self is that starting point. It's the central point. It's the central station. It's the starting point. Everything comes from the self. The first thing that you, the one constant in life is yourself. So it's going to be really important. And the self comes with gifts, some innate gifts and talents. And if anyone, for example, here is a parent or what have you, you often notice that a kid, a baby has a personality very, very early on. And it's important that you're going to continue to need to nurture yourself throughout life. But sometimes the focus just becomes so external and everyone else that we forget that. And there's only so much you can give unless you nourish the self. If there's no fuel in the tank, the car's not going to get anywhere. And I think we sometimes get this. And it's interesting at this time of the year also, Lisa, isn't it interesting how lots of people are running on empty? So the first thing often they notice is they're exhausted or they're tired, the amount of illness, the coughs and colds and so on. And that's often because we've just worn ourselves down or we haven't taken care of the self. So all the things that you talk about in these shows, the self-awareness, the self-love and everything else comes from this awareness of the self, who you are, and all of this is really an exploration of who am I, why am I here, what's important to me, how can I take care of myself. So it's so key, and that's why I love the fact this show is called Self-Central, because it allows people to stop and consider that and how they feel, because people often may not know who they are, how they feel about themselves, or how to take care of themselves. So it's really important in this show that we explore, well, what do we mean by the self, and how can we take care of our gifts, and how can we gift to ourselves as well.
And also, this is the season of giving. And at the moment, a lot of us are giving out. And as you said, we're running on empty, we're tired, etc. But we're still giving out and may not be thinking about what we need to give to us for self-care. So that's why it's a really important question. And so if there's anyone out there wondering how they can give to themselves, what kind of suggestions can you give?
I think it links to what you were saying there. First of all, I think you need to stop and pause again and ask yourself, okay, how do I feel right now? What feels important to me? You might have a sense that, first of all, maybe physically you're feeling well and buoyant, or you're unwell. If, for example, you're feeling unwell to a small degree, that maybe you've got a slight cold or a cough or whatever, or a more serious degree, there might be an ailment or whatever, that may well be needed to be attended to. So first of all, it might well be that you physically need to take care of yourself. And I was speaking to a contact of mine who works with people and their well-being, and he said, that sometimes you'll get a kind of a spiritual nudge, how do I, the overall feeling or an insight or whatever. Sometimes it'd be more of an emotional feeling that I'm not feeling well, or sometimes it'd be physical. If it's physical, that means you really do need to take care of yourself, because it means that you haven't been hearing, your point about the nudges, that the body needs to take care of itself. So the first thing I'd say is ask yourself, how do I feel feel, what's really important to me right now. Maybe it's just about taking care of yourself. Maybe it's just about getting a day, allowing yourself that day sleep or what have you. Maybe it's something more. Maybe it's more that you're needing more emotional support in your life. Maybe it's far more about something that you need to practically do. So I think the first thing you need to ask yourself, where am I at? What's important to me? And what do I feel it is that I need right now? And there might be a few things. So I'd say write that down. What's important that you need? And that might be so different to all the things that you're rushing out to buy. It may have nothing to do with the things you're rushing out to buy. It might have far more about time, care, emotional support. It might be about those things far more about anything practically, because all the superficial things aren't going to really do the job for any period of time.
No, fully agree with you. And actually, in the first hour, I mentioned the benefits of massages.
Right.
And I just basically explained that more often than not, stress tends to manifest in the shoulders and neck. So, for example, desk workers who are now off, they may be feeling that their neck is still maybe tense, or they can really feel the pain and the ache in their backs. And it's because they've begun to wind down and that pain is starting to manifest and ooze out. Right. So a massage would be a great thing for them to do to ease the muscle pain. And massages increase and improve circulation. It can soothe anxiety and depression. It can help you have a good night's sleep. You can do all these things. So that, as I was explaining in the first hour, that's just a simple gift that they can do for themselves. And it doesn't have to cost if you have a partner.
No, it doesn't. No, you're so right. And I think it's really interesting with this, because I think that what kind of person you'll get those people, and they're very drawn to the physical. So things like the massages or the treatments and all that kind of thing may really, really work for you. You might be somebody else where you're far more psychologically or emotionally. So therefore, it might well be about, there might be certain nourishing films or music and that kind of stuff. So know what kind of person you are, what you're drawn to, or somebody who loves to read. Think about what is it that nourishes you. What we're talking about here is that what is it that really, really nourishes you. And sometimes in all the noise and in all of the glitz and all the tinsel, you actually forget what it is that's really useful. How often do we say, for example, at Christmas, oh gosh, that gift wasn't really me. Maybe it will be really good for us to have conversations about what are the things that somebody actually really needs in their life for themselves. And I loved, by the way, when you posted that thing about the book that you created.
Oh, yeah.
I think for your niece, it's amazing. So again, we were talking about that last time, isn't it? Yeah. That when you can really give from that, but also what is it the things that you actually need? And so often we're so divorced from it. It will take a little bit of time. You might need to sit here throughout the duration of the show and ask yourself, actually, what is it I need? Do you know what? I actually need some time. I wouldn't mind somebody kind of just a good day out or whatever, or to laugh again, whatever it might well be, It's
interesting because, when I was doing that book, and that was because you did say, give your gift as a gift. And I thought, I'm actually going to do that. I love being creative. I'm not creative enough, but I love it. And so in a gift like that, I am making something for someone else, but it's also doing a lot for me also. So it's like it's killing two birds with one stone. It's got a double kind of bounce back, if you want to even use that word. It's a made up word, by the way. I don't know what that means, but it's given to someone else and given to myself at the same time. So it has a double impact. So
that's really powerful. And I think that's so true. Again, it ties that thing about giving to yourself, and what is it that really nourishes you in that mere process of doing that. It's so powerful, isn't it? That you might, let's say you realize that you've always enjoyed painting. Well, painting or creating music or whatever it might well be, or making things in that particular case, you're right, it will give you such a feel-good feeling. Or maybe it's with sport. It again, like all of these things, they can reduce stress. They can boost, the positive energy in the body. They can have such a benefit on all different levels. And only by allowing yourself to do that do you begin to realize you connect to yourself. That mere process might be that. You might be on one level thinking, oh yeah, I always just enjoy doing collages or whatever when I was a kid. But it might well be that you have no idea how nourishing that is to your whole spirit, or that you used to sing, or you used to play, or you used to do a particular kind of sport. Go out and do it. And that gift that you'll give to yourself on all levels, emotional, spiritual, physical, may be really, really high and heightened. As you say, often it doesn't need to cost anything or very little.
It doesn't. And sorry, as you were just talking, I was just remembering the feelings that I was feeling as I was doing this book, because, I've got the glitter out, I've got glitter pens, I was cutting things up, and it actually tapped in. Well, those things are considered to be quite childlike, but childlike is great because it means you're tapping into your playful essence of yourself that sometimes we don't actually explore enough or unleash enough, because we're now adults and we're meant to behave in a certain way, etc. But literally, those I had glitter everywhere, but I absolutely loved it. So again, guys at home, if you are still thinking about buying Christmas presents and stuff, you can still think about what your gift is that you can give as a gift. You still have time to do that. It's a lovely Sunday day. You can sit, relax, and just create something. So have a little think. And whilst you're doing that, I'm going to go to a track by Keisha Cole called
I wanna be the one who you believe in your heart is sent from heaven. There's a piece of me who leaves when you're gone because you're sent from heaven.
Colourful Radio.
So that was Sent from Heaven by the lovely Keisha Cole. It was a beautiful song. It's been quite some time since I've heard it, but as usual, so fitting for this show. I mean, we're talking about giving to yourself. We're talking about your gifts. Your gifts are sent from heaven, right? Are they not God-given gifts? So, and they're there for a reason. They're there for you to use, I guess.
It's such an important point, Lisa, that we live in such a world that is so externally focused. Often it's so commercial, especially at this time of the year. We do forget exactly that the gifts are sent from heaven, however you look at it, innately or from the universe, however you believe about it. But they're there, that you're gifted it. Look around you and your own skills and talents, you were born with them, or they nurtured over a period of time. And so I think that we're on this self-central journey. You've got to really, first of all, appreciate that you have those gifts, you have those talents, you have some worth, you have value, that you brought a lot of joy to lots of people's lives. And I think that's really, really important. And also then there might be lots of natural things that you can do. We were just having a little bit of a chat, weren't we, about some of the things that people gift themselves with.
Yes.
And one is things like bath salts. That, of course, is interesting because it links to lots of those natural things in nature that, again, is innately there.
Yeah, exactly. In the Daily Mail this week, they said that the sexiest gift you can give this year is bath salts. Bath salts contain an abundance of trace minerals, sulfur and magnesium that mimic the properties of natural hot springs. Boots say sales of bath salts are soaring, and Victoria Beckham and Jennifer Lawrence are said to be fans. I mean, that's not really the important part, really, is it? But hey, Dead Sea salts may offer anti-inflammatory properties, and dermatologist Dr. Sam Bunting definitely recommends them. So yeah, and it does give you that time to sort of, it's almost like a massage and aromatherapy all in one hit as you're relaxing in water.
Big time, and I exactly. And remember that we are 70% water.
Exactly.
So stuff like this, and I love this, like the bath salts. It's to the natural stuff. So I think that there's all these natural things, and it's interesting. Before you talk about massage, again, that's a natural thing, isn't it? That so it's often this. It's amazing how this stuff. Isn't it amazing how, for example, a really good walk, your favourite place by your favourite sea or outside, isn't it? When, for example, when people even go on holiday, if you think about it, where do they spend their time? In the pool, in the sea, or walking through the sands. The natural things, isn't it? In the sun. So it's the natural things. Today's also the shortest day. So from tomorrow, the days are getting longer. So it's interesting that often the gifts start off by the natural gifts that you have and that nature's gifts. So it's your natural gifts and nature's gifts.
And do you know what? I'm going to just interject there and just play another song, so I think it's really fitting. It's a song by Irie called Yellow, because yellow is, again, in colour and in metaphorical sense, yellow is the sun. We all love the sun, but internally we all have our sun within us, and it's about us glowing, nourishing that, making it glow so it extends from the inside out. So let's have a little listen to Irie-Yellow.
Stay with me in the yellow. Stay with me in the yellow.
Colourful Radio.
So that was Yellow by the very beautiful Irie. And don't you think that was quite a fitting song, Rasheed?
It is, isn't it? Because yellow, as you're saying, it signifies sun, it signifies energy. And I like the fact that you said that, therefore, it's something that can emanate from within, externally, as well as that we get the sun and it emanates toward us and warms us. So this is a really good point, because then the more you nurture yourself, be it, first of all, by becoming aware of how you're feeling, what you're thinking, what your emotions are, and taking care of yourself physically in terms of then your diet, or sleep, diet, and all those things, then you become more energized and more able that you're able to give. And let's face it, and to achieve. So all the things that you're really wanting to do in life on a practical sense are dependent on the self. You cannot achieve any of the things that you're wanting to achieve by having a depleted self. It's an impossibility. So, lots of people think, oh, all this self stuff, it's a bit airy-fairy. It's the most practical thing. The more alive you are within your spirit, and the more aligned you are to your spirit, the more it is you will be alive in your spirit, and the more it is that your spirit will actually shine. The more people will be attracted to you personally in every sense of what you do, the more it is you'll be able to bring to everything, the more it is that you'll be able to add to the relationships, the more productive you're going to be, the less stressful you're going to be. There's not one aspect of your life that's going to be untouched. And just like the sun, very few people come into contact with you who won't be warmed by your energy, and that's the win that comes from this kind of stuff. So we often think it's external of the superficial things. It's external in terms of the things in nature that nourish us, and the sunlight and the air and the water and all those things that are part of us. But then it's down to us to nourish our own spirit, to take care of our own spirit, and then to be giving of our spirit. Because also, if you're not giving of your energy and your magic, then it kind of withers. Often we feel that, oh no, if I hang on to everything, I've got to hang on to everything. But it's when you actually give, you actually gain. It's a bit like you said, when you're creating that wonderful thing, for your goddaughter, it was giving to you, it was energizing for you, it shared your talents, enhanced your talents, again, it reminded you of your talents, and it gives an amazing, unique, one-off gift that couldn't be bought from the shelf for her, and both people feel warmed, and they feel extra special at something which you've uniquely gifted to them. That's the power of this journey that we're talking about of the self.
It really, really is. And so today with you guys at home, it's just about acknowledging what you can give to yourself. So, and we've explored many things today. So whether it be whether you've noticed that you're tired, okay, what can you give to yourself? Do you need to slow down? Well, a nice relaxing bath with some really nice salt, and go out and treat yourself to that. I mean, I don't mean go downstairs and get your table salt and put it in your bath. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the Dead Sea salts and those aromatherapy salts. Make yourself feel special. You can do that just by something simple like that, with the smells. Yeah.
And
make yourself feel.
And listen to your body. Are you feeling that sometimes look tired? Could it be that going to bed half an hour earlier, or sometimes getting up half an hour later, make that different in terms of you just feeling far more energized? The simple things like that. Is your body often telling you, often getting stomach pains or chest pains? Does it mean that just by bringing a few more healthy, nutritious things into your diet, would that help? And just one tip, if it boils down to that, because lots of us do have really bad habits and eating habits, including this time of the year. But my one tip there, I'm a nutritionalist, is that very often people try and cut things out of their diet and so on. My first tip, and that can be, if you're good at that, great. But my first tip would be bringing good things into your diet first. Because then it might be easier for you to let go of some of the things and at least it means you're getting the nutritionist things that you need. So make sure you bring the fruit and the veg in, and then it might be easier for you to let go of the sugar or the salt. So at least you're getting those things that you need naturally anyway. So you've got to become mindful in this and become aware of what does my body need? Yeah. What does my mind need? Does my mind just need for me to have an hour less TV so there's less noise or less on the internet? Get in touch with yourself.
Or to watch something that's more enriching.
Absolutely. And that's such a good important point. There is so much enriching stuff. People think there's so much, we've now got the amazing thing. There's so much stuff. There'll be spiritual talks, there'll be personal, professional development talks, pretty much anything you're looking for, or the more nutritious music, like for example, you play on this show, that gets you back in touch with your spirit. So it just takes a little bit of time. Search that stuff out, and your body will know when it's nourishing, when you're listening to something that is just banging away at your head.
Fully agree. Rasheed, I'm sorry we have come to the end. It's literally flown by. And I just want to take this moment while I've got a minute on the clock to say thank you very, 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 very much for your contributions on this show. Pleasure. Your experience and knowledge on self is helping other people to understand themselves, and I hope many people at home find it enriching. I've had quite a lot of feedback regarding your voice and many of the things, and your nudges as well, and I know that it does resonate with a lot of people. So I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart, Rasheed. Like literally, I'm getting emotional.
Well, thank you. Well, thank you for giving me the opportunity, and thank you everybody who's been tuning in and joining in these weeks, and looking forward to. I think we've got one more. No, this is the one before Christmas, isn't it?
It is the one before Christmas.
We look forward to seeing everyone the one after Christmas as we prepare for the new year and sorting things, getting clear ahead of the new year.
Brilliant. And we're going to leave you with Soul Holidays, of course. So we're still talking about self, remember, because you're listening to the Self Centered.